Sean Brady says that Ian Garry is most famous for losing a fight in the UFC. That the thing that he did best in his time in the octagon is get beat less badly by Rakhmonov than we thought he was going to lose to Rakhmonov. The result was the same, but the back and forth battle was tighter. All things which are true. And then Brady teased him for it. And I'm into it. What I'm really into is this new vocal Sean Brady. And a lot of times we'll get a guy with some good run, and all he can do is talk about title shots. And I'm for it. That's good. That's much better than give me a ranked guy. Or the worst, I don't care who I fight, I'll fight anybody. Like as a way of acting as though I'm so brave, I do not care who it is. You ultimately just said you don't care. If you don't care who you're fighting, it's impossible for us to care who you're fighting. So I can live with it. But I really do like the idea of Brady spreading the venom around. Like there's no reason that he should just be locked on to Blal, who he's already fought. He knows he's not going to just draw right back into Blal, and he could have got headlines. He could have used him. He could have talked about that night and the things that he learned and the excuses going into it. He could have done that. Or he could take a much bigger risk and start going after somebody like Brady. Well, like Ian Garry. One thing that Brady said when he was doing this, he then also went on to Pratis. And he said that Pratis is the worst of the fighting nerds. And that's so mean-spirited. It is so unnecessary. It is such unnecessary roughness while being very G-rated. There was no threat. There was no profanity. I mean, the word nerd is kind of funny. It won't even get you, kicked out of class if you were in school for using it. It's definitely not a nice word, but it's very low-hanging fruit. Not to mention they're represented and calling themselves that. So he then took the team and took the group and says that that's the worst one of the whole group. I mean, it's a very mean thing to say. I'm not sure where Sean Brady sprayed the majority of his venom. He set out on Ian Garry, which tells me that Brady believes Gary's going to win the fight. But Brady hedged his bet in one simple line on Carlos Pratis, which is to say, he is the worst of the fighting nerds. And it just made for an interesting read, which makes for the fourth interesting read in a row I've had on Sean Brady. And I'm including his interview after Leon when he grabbed the mic. I mean, Sean Brady is red hot right now. And he wasted enough time. He wasted 17 fights before making this turn. And it's important that he does make this turn. On paper, I'm not certain that Ian Garry has achieved more than Sean Brady. In fact, I think if we really analyzed it, we'd come to the opposite opinion, but their records are essentially the same. But one of them probably is going to main event. That's Brady. And the other one's going to main event before you even know who the opponent is. And that's Ian Garry. And I just suggest for you that a lot of that done and a lot of that maneuvering, a lot of the bureaucracy and what some people call the politics behind the scene is just giving a good interview and getting people interested. It's not a negative to admit that interviews matter. It doesn't make you a showman or take away from the sport for understanding that promos and press conferences are done for a reason. And I watched for all of his grappling career. Sean Brady didn't take a victory lap the day that he beat Craig Jones. And he could have. He could have called out Gordon Ryan. He could have gone. There was a lot of things that he could have done with these big wins. I feel like I'm the one that has to keep on reminding you guys that match even took place. Lord knows Sean Brady wasn't going to do anything other than, bow and be respectful, and that's the way that he came off, and he did that for 17 fights as well, and I don't agree that he needs to do that. I believe that he needs to start getting recognized. He beat the Ultimate Fighter winner, which is the toughest tournament in all sports. He fought the world champion. He finished a world champion. History in this business says you beat a world champion, you get a fight for a world championship. I mean, not for nothing, Brady's got the right to start speaking up, and if these other guys are going to come in and start trying to steal his opportunities and he wants to get in front of this thing, I love it when that happens, and it happens so infrequently. I mean, the sport of MMA is pretty much rinse and repeat. Have a big fight, go to a press conference, John Morgan, ask Dana White, what's next? Dana White says, let's see what happens. I like the few times when we know. And I disagree. I don't think that it always has to only be for a title fight. Well, whoever wins here is going to fight for the title. I don't think it has to be that way. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying ahead of time, whoever wins between Carlos Pradas and Ian Garry draws in to Sean Brady. I like that. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think that it's fun. It's clearly something that Sean Brady wants to do. Why, if you're in a business of fighting and you have two guys that want to fight each other, would you ever do anything to stop it? If you found two guys that want to fight, and it makes sense and the people want to see it, it sounds like they helped do your job for you. So get the paperwork. Sign the fight. Sean Brady versus the winner of Ian Garry, Carlos Pradas. Do any of you have a problem with that?